And we are live. I hope. I really do hope that we are live. Maybe somebody will let us know if we're live or not.
That is different when you can't see
Yeah.
any of the stuff that's kind of going around.
Welcome to He Said
She said.
Show. I like that we keep doing it.
Why not?
Every opening show we say we're not going to do it.
Yeah. We just change the way we do.
We certainly do. I'm waiting on the hopeful notification that we are live. But the first time, it looks like, I got the notification, I think. We are good to go. It would appear that we are live.
Oh, yeah.
You got it pulled up? Mm-mm. If you can,
no, I just got the notification.
if you can pull it up, actually, you can comment. I have the fire in my face, so I'm running that on the computer. So if you're watching,
you do?
so if you're watching live on Facebook, or if you're listening to this podcast at a later date, it is Sunday, March 4th. We're trying to go Sundays at 8 o'clock live on the He Said, She Said Facebook page. Tonight was the first attempt. We're not marketing, right? 8 o'clock.
Yeah. And then it becomes an obligation. I think it was worth the wait.
That's funny. You worked that in there. I see what you did.
Yeah, it almost feels like the fire is actually like a real fire. Like it's cozy.
It kind of does.
Yeah.
I'm if we can unmute it, maybe we can even get the fire crackle in the back, but it's probably way too loud.
Yeah, it's probably really cracky.
I'm going to turn this up for a moment.
It's actually like a real fire. Like it's cozy.
Now, how weird is that? Is that we just did a warp back in time, just about 5 seconds live there that you just heard. Don't worry, it's not skipping. It's not a CD. We are still live. So it did share. It looks like everything came across. I will be able to comment and follow along until my phone dies, as usual.
Why didn't you get it plugged?
We have a million plugs and rigged up the whole studio, and the one thing we didn't rig up was a phone charge.
I just now said, why didn't you get it plugged? What is that?
Oh, it's just look. Let's add the firecracker here to this. It sounds like firecrackers. What the fuck?
I'm gonna be like
When I start
jumping under the table.
I was thinking the exact same thing. I swear to God. Ready?
Yeah.
Hold on. We're gonna wait. It's just a fire, people. Don't freak out.
Right.
Like somebody's firecrackers or something. Oh my God! It sounds painful.
I'm afraid my hair is gonna start on fire.
Yeah, that's insane. I guess we're still live. All right. Yeah, it's still rolling. Hi, everybody. Welcome. I hope you like the fire too. We have, if you've watched the He Said, She Said show before, this show was on the Cognitive Rampage network, if you will, but we have pulled it off and it's on its own. So I would toast you with water because we have chosen Sober March.
Yes.
It doesn't rhyme at all. There's nothing fancy to it. It's just Sober March.
Yeah.
Well, no, we're taking a sober March.
Right. Oh yeah.
Yeah, cheers to that. So some nice, fresh, clean water. Toasting to March, nice and clean.
Yeah.
I got a feeling May's not going to be that way because your birthday's at the beginning and mine is at the end.
You're right. That is definitely not going to be a quiet month.
Well, I think it will be quiet. I think we're trying. I'm not even going to put out where we're going, but I think we're looking for a more quiet approach this time as opposed to last year's birthday at New Smyrna Beach. Shout out to Carrie, Allie, Ranye, everyone that showed up to that New Smyrna Beach birthday. How old did I turn?
36.
you're not lying this time, right?
No,
For real?
I'm not lying.
Right. You lie to me a lot, and sometimes you're playing, and then it all gets confused. And I should probably keep track. I don't want to keep track how old I am. Do you do that?
I'm still stuck on you lie to me a lot.
How old am I? You're like 38. What? No, I'm not. I don't. What am I? I don't know.
No.
I don't want to track it.
Yeah, no. I just keep telling myself you're 1 year less than the year it is.
All right,
So-
that's okay.
7 next year, right?
All right, no, I'm just gonna have to check in. I don't know. I should probably keep up to date.
All right.
Yeah, it's been an eventful February for sure. Business is going good.
Yeah.
That's been fun. The last podcast, remember, we talked a lot about working together.
Yeah.
Yeah, funny you say that.
Yeah. What would you like to talk about when it comes to working together?
Well, the different kind of working together that we did this weekend, really, which was picking up the U-Haul to go power shop on OfferUp. And look, if you buy new furniture, just kick yourself in the shin.
Right.
Seriously, I made that mistake once in life, and don't do that. It becomes kind of fun, right? Like the first order. Well, when we moved here back to Florida for me, and you came here, we sold everything off out, or you sold all your stuff off out in Arizona. We pulled a quick offer up because we got the house, put it down, and had to move in furniture. It was like a whirlwind weekend of U-Haul driving all over with a hurricane, not to mention upon us.
It was actually really fun. I felt like I was like coupon shopping. You know, it's like, okay, OfferUp. Here I go. We set our little limits of what we really wanted and needed, and it was fun. It was just like heart. No heart.
Right.
You didn't like my offer. Okay, fine. And it's kind of funny when you kind of go back and forth with the person. Like, what is your bottom line? You know, where you go, did I really just fight that woman for $4?
Some people, seriously, there's a few things I was selling myself, and I'm like, really? It was the $10 that did it in, huh?
Well, sometimes it really can be like the principle of things where it's like almost like the disrespect.
the principles of OfferUp trading.
I'll end you.
Well, it's been kind of cool because I think you said it this morning as we went to pick up the other portion of our new podcast table, which is a story, which is why I wrote in karma. And I don't want to get to that story yet, but we'll get there anyway, I'm sure. But
The challenge.
yeah, hold back, hold. Got all Braveheart and shit. But for a brief moment, we had to just kind of pick stuff that fit that we could get that day that we liked. So the first round of furniture we put in the house was kind of just like, okay, it's available now. It will work. And so then when
It was nice stuff, but it probably wouldn't have been the things that you and I would have chosen style wise. But it was nice.
But that's my point. It was still good. That's what I mean. It was brilliant that even in a 2-day notice with a last minute U-Haul rental and 80,000 miles around all of Orlando, north and south and Maitland and everywhere. With
in the weather.
Yeah, with hurricane showing up. It's like storming. We're like back in.
Seriously, we're driving. And this is not funny, but it was just like we turned our heads like, did that car just float the other direction?
Yeah.
Remember that?
We're in the U-Haul. There's a spot, if you know Orlando, everything's terrible to drive, but the north end by Maitland can be bad. It's always under construction. This is the land of detours and Disney. But on that side, so we're kind of coming off a detour ramp around an I-4 thing on Maitland. We're in a U-Haul that windshield wipers don't want to work. It's storming on the back end. It was bad. But we gathered all the stuff. We got the bed enough to get in there. We had exactly just what we needed, not overdone. But this round, we got to liquidate with, man, we made money.
Yeah.
And we found like less pieces, better pieces, but less, almost on a minimalist style too. But man, got this awesome setup with the new chairs and the new podcast.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a surprise because we weren't really planning on doing this. But then, I was like, hey, that is kind of the chairs that we kind of like. Let's look at this. And then we just made ridiculous offer of maybe they will.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, the nonprofit we're starting was kind of the back end too. We're like, that will go great in the nonprofit
Yeah, for
office.
sure.
Yeah. And I was like, sold. Okay, that's enough. Over. Yeah. And wound up still making money, even on a couple transfers. I saw it as recycling. You know, don't buy new stuff. Well, it's worth 20% by the time they deliver it to your doorstep once you paid for it. I mean, if you had to sell that with what you just spent on it to maybe live for another month or two, you're out of gas.
Yeah.
You're done. You got to liquidate. Offer up will be like, nah, $4. They will, man.
No.
You can't. You don't buy new. Just don't.
You regret it immediately, especially when you like, for instance, that purse that I bought.
Yeah.
I bought myself a nice bag and decided I didn't really use it. I just didn't use it for what it was worth.
Yeah.
And I went and sold it, and that person, bought it for half the price that I bought it for. And you look at them and you go, that person deserves it. They
Yeah.
really took the time to shop around, find the good deal,
Sure.
and they can kind of wear it with pride.
It's recycling. It is. Because, I mean, all the new stuff. Hold on one second. Brought to you by Kane's Furniture. And no, how shitty would that be? I don't think we're going to get a furniture sponsor for a couple weeks.
Yeah, no.
Offer up. How are you doing? You want to sponsor a show?
Hey, we can show them the ins and outs of what happens for real.
Right. But that working together is how we started before we squirreled off.
Yeah.
Was fun as well. Just you throw on whatever you happen to be wearing that morning. You're like, we got to go now and pick this up. Wait, can we buy this at the same time? So when we got the U-Haul and we can make the round trip and pick this up at the same time, loading and moving things. And frankly, a lot of people that we met and just a little roundabout that came here and bought things, they were all around nice people.
The stories, the one where you're making deals with people, they show up and you end up knowing them. It's so funny because, you have different names and stuff and you go, whoa.
It was crazy. Well, I'll leave the dude's name out, but
Yeah, I did that purposely.
yeah.
Like, you can share what you want.
yeah, we have a history and a moment, a story, a night, a moment. Anyway, it happened to be him that showed up to buy a piece of furniture. Now, mind you, he didn't buy it. Came in, took some pictures, and bounced like he was like, "I'm out. I gotta."
He was the Shakey's pizza manager.
It was funny, man. But you never know who shows up, right? And everybody was all around okay, for what you get, what you're paying for. Honestly, what you're selling and what they're willing to pay for it is what shows up to buy.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
They've been some really unique people.
Yeah.
And their stories of where they're going, or it's kind of funny because everybody tells you a little bit of the story of, like the female that shows up and she needs help but she's driving this big truck and her man's somewhere else because he's got this going on. And, you kind of get the whole spiel. And sometimes like a sense of an attitude of, like there was one of the women that picked up some furniture. She was kind of like shaking stuff around in the back of the truck, like, because it's her husband's truck, like moving and shifting. You could just feel the energy of, if he doesn't want to go pick it up, I'm going to go pick it up.
Yeah.
I can do this. And climbing in the back of the truck. It was kind of funny to watch because you really don't know what their life is,
Yeah, you get that glimpse. It's like a new reality show we don't need.
Right.
The offer up, it before you can. I'm glad it's not Craigslist. They'd be like, no, it's some killer Craigslist psycho stuff.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
But man, if you're, not, sure, you got to be safe. Where you're showing up, what you think you're selling. You still got to be that way.
Or even like, I mean, come on. When you post your profile picture for offer up, I don't think they're really wanting you to offer yourself up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when I see some of the people, their profile pictures, I'm going, what if I'm some male
Yes.
or female that's like, what is she selling? Because I'm going to go buy it.
Yeah, some of the pictures on the profiles. Look, I'm look. If it's you, look for real. There's some bad people out there, and if you're posting pictures like it's I don't know, some social media or some dating site or something like that, the downward angle thing when you're showing stuff, you got to be careful, man. Seriously, somebody sees that, they buy something, order it. find your address. You got to be freaking careful, man.
Oh, there's just way too many ways to make you think there's somebody else.
Yeah.
It's way too
Hey,
unsafe
let's
to do
not
that.
give anybody any ideas, all right? If you're listening to that and you're thinking about it, stop listening to this show.
Yeah.
Go get help.
I'm pretty sure there's a chip in the phone that'll make your phone blow up if you actually do it.
Whoa. One day. Yeah, one day. But you do meet some people that offer up conversation for a long time, and some that don't. Some are like, some don't even look you in the eye. They're just
Right.
like, all right, here's the money. I like it. Can you put it in the truck? And I'm like, well, what the hell? I'm going to charge you a moving fee right now.
What about that lady that was just like, oh, no, don't do that? You know, start a slow motion talk like, flip it over.
Yeah. All right. So that's a perfect opening to how this new podcast table and beautiful setup came to be in this studio. The lady you were referencing, we'll leave their names out for now, but
Yeah.
well, probably I'll just leave it out.
No,
we were
there's
picking.
still room.
Okay, we were picking up at their place of business, and mind you, it's 6 heavy chairs. It's a 8-foot something, maybe even 9-foot long table. It is quite heavy, and there's 2 flights of stairs, and they one goes forward and back, so they alternate stairs. Now we're at the top. I've toted down about 6 chairs or so. We've got them lined up. No one's helped. Now there's 4 people there. 3 ladies and a gentleman, sort of. You certainly did. You carried one down. You were pulling them out to the truck as I was toting them down the stairs too, and it was a good help. Perfect. But what became hilarious is the lady that sat upon to which was her throne, possibly at one point. Let's just say she made it known she was in charge. She had dropped orders to the gentleman there about who would help and who would pick up and how the table would make it down this flight of stairs. So she does offer that we could all pick it up at once and lift it up and over and hang it down over the side. And my first response was, lady, no one here's 12 foot tall.
Yeah. Right. I was like, who's going to help me hold on to a table like this?
Right.
What?
Over the edge, down to the, it was about the 4th step on the beginning step at the bottom. So you'd had to reach you'd have
Not
dropped
to mention, the people she's suggesting that help us all look like they could use a giant gallon of water.
Yeah, well,
They're exhausted, and they shouldn't be exhausted at that hour, but they looked exhausted, like they were just draping themselves, drained because they had to be there because they're so inconvenienced.
yeah. And well, I thought we walked in. So to rewind a little bit before the lady asked us to flip the table and drop it to someone down on the bottom of the steps. Now, mind you, the table probably weighs, I'd say, close to 150 to 200 pounds. And she's like, just dump it over the side awkwardly and someone will get it. No, ma'am, that's okay. And so I figure we can take the table apart. Now, her little assistant was quite mean. And now, mind you, when we walked in, I thought maybe,
Yeah.
all right, it's solemn in here. Maybe their business closed down because obviously it used to be a business. There's a for lease sign in the window. You know, they're liquidating their thousands of dollar furniture. So I'm thinking, all right, maybe it's a little sad. It's all right. The lady goes and gets us a screwdriver to start to take it apart. One lady starts to complain. She goes, "Oh, we don't have time for you to take it apart. It's cutting into my Disney time." I'm like, okay. Then her little sidekick shows up with a screwdriver. I start to work as fast as I can. She's rather upset. Throws a little fit, really.
She was not even, and that was a little bit further than a little fit. She was to where I was like, oh, I'm going to sit back and watch. You know, she didn't look like a little weakling. She knew exactly what she was doing. She was a bit ugly.
Yeah, I guess. So my response, I guess, yes, was accordingly then.
Yeah.
So I just responded, look, I don't know what's going on. What did I do? I didn't tell you to sell me this table and chairs at this price. And so she has a freak out little fit. And then she reaches over and hugs me really quickly. She's like right in front of me. And then just kind of hugs me really quickly. And I'm like, whoa. And it's like, oh, I'm sorry. And then we just kind of go to taking the table apart awkwardly. And then we're talking like we're all friends. It's kind of weird. I'm just unscrewing as fast as I can. And later, Side note, before we continue this story, as we've taken the table apart and we've been looked down disgustingly upon the queen, the which held the office here. Her son's the CEO. They've got a larger office now. She proceeds to tell me her resume of things. I don't think her eyebrows were real. I'm pretty sure they were colored on.
They were a bit green. That's probably why.
Yeah, it was pretty rude. And so the side note, what was the side note I was going to cover?
I think it was going to be that we were going to address the Me Too in that scenario.
Yeah. What if, so get this side note. Now, this is a lady in front of me I don't know. We've come there to pick up a piece of furniture that obviously no one is going to help Patricia and I with down the stairs. It's the weight of a full-grown man.
And then some.
Yeah, it's 180 pounds, right? We're getting no help. She's rushing us out because we're cutting her Disney time. She's getting really upset at me, has a little fit. I'm going, whoa, I'm sorry if your business is closed. Right? She freaks out, hugs me real quickly. Then I thought when we got home later or whatever, we chatted, and I said, what if that was reversed? Excuse me. What if that was a female, if I was a female, and the male is throwing a little pissy attitude like that, almost aggressively.
You said like if it was you and I.
Yeah, if it's aggressively toward me, if I was a female sitting there, and then has a freak out moment right in front of me, and then grabs me, hugs me, and squeezes me close, like And I thought, man, you'd be in trouble. I thought, man, if a male did that and just hugged a female real quick, you didn't know upstairs in front of 4 of her friends, 3 of her friends that didn't like you already,
Yeah.
and you just did that, I was like, you'd be hashtag me too, man.
Yeah.
You'd be dumb. But this lady didn't have no qualms. She just not only verbally whips you and I upstairs for about 10 minutes and then just hugs me randomly. And I was like, whoa. All right. So
I don't think she was prepared for what she was actually doing.
she was upset.
She was I'll give people the early morning grouchy whatever card, where you give them a little bit of room that maybe they're having a dumpy day.
Well, I
But
tried.
I'll just give me the screwdriver. Just do. It's going to take too long. I mean, just everything like from the second, and then 2 seconds later, she'd be going, "Yes, we volunteer for this or that."
Yes, that's right. She owned a nonprofit.
Yes.
She had a nonprofit herself, and da-da-da. And then I'm like, I thought she was stab me with the screwdriver.
I wish the two of you and I, we just were on the same page. We were on different floors, but I wish we could have just been like, all right, sorry, ma'am. What else can we move for you?
Yeah.
Just to be like really extreme to her, the way that she was treating us.
I paid $300 a chair each for each one of those. We're not carrying anything. I was like,
I know. I was so surprised when she was like,
Wow.
I'll hold the door.
yeah, I'll hold the door. Well, I appreciate you holding the door there, young lady. It was rather intense. So we want to get out of there so fast, right? We get the table down. we take the heavy part of the table, you and I, and we flip it over. We were like professional movers, by the way. We were back down the stairs. We flipped it over the side rail, boom, right out the door. We had to unload the couch that we picked up, reload it all back in a different way, right? And so, no, we didn't have the couch yet.
No,
That's right.
On the next one.
That
we
was
had to-
next, right? So we had to put the table in there. We put the table, line it up, put the chairs in there. You and I are like, fuck them. We are out.
Yeah, that was. We could have been on. I have to admit, on the dipshit show for a day.
We were. We both said, fuck it, we're out. Loaded the shit, got on thing, got 5 minutes down the way in the U-Haul to go get the new couch or the other couch. And, I don't want to say new couch, get a couch.
It's new to us.
Yeah, and new to us. That's right. Get the new couch, and we go, oh no, we left the other piece upstairs. And the lady messaged, hey, you left the other piece. We're like, well, I think they know we don't like them. So we took 1/3 of the order, loaded up the U-Haul, and we jetted. And so we're like, all right, we'll just go get the couch real quick. And we loaded the couch, moved the chairs out, put it in. Now let's go back to the location. And this wonderful Christian woman or Mormon woman, she announced her beliefs rather proudly to us. And her wonderful self said, can't do you, can't help you.
Yeah. Right. It
tomorrow.
was so that, yeah, like, oh, no, sorry, I don't live here.
Yeah, well, I'm out. Yeah, that's what she said. I don't live here. So we're like, okay. So
What just happened?
yeah, what happened? We come back, we set it all up. We're like, we can't even set the table up. We don't even have the base of the table.
That's why I was laughing so hard. I was thinking of two idiots thinking they're freaking badass. Fuck that bitch.
We were out.
Doing
Man.
a tear off like you're so cool.
We did. It's like storming out, like when you're in an argument and you forget the keys. Was that Kevin Hart says that shit, right? He said you storm out, you do it poorly, you got to come back in. Forgot the keys.
Yes.
You're trying to go back out. My phone's finally died, so I can no longer participate in any live chatting.
Son of a gun.
Yeah, but it's true. We tried to storm out, like, fuck them. We were together too. We were just like Bonnie and Clyde. We paid them, right? Yeah, they got the money. Deuces. No need to go back up. Lady's like, All right then. That's fine. That's fine. But that was fun. So anyway, the next morning, we get the message. Come get your table. It's out back.
Oh yeah, right. Like it's a ransom.
Yeah, that was enough not to like the people already, right? They didn't help you, but it gets worse. And so, I mean, it's not like it's crazy. They don't set anything on fire or nothing. They just do what they do, right? Get the call. Yeah, your piece was set out back. We're like, wonderful. So we drive to go get the other piece. It's about 30, 40 minutes across town. Roll in the back, walk up upon the base, and it's obviously obvious they had probably rolled it down the stairs to get the other half out there. And the table is in shambles. It looks like somebody just beat up a pallet. It's terrible.
I was seriously just imagining them so angry at each other, throwing it over the freaking stairs.
Oh, they were pissed. So they rolled it down the stairs. And so it's busted. There's pieces on the thing. The table part sitting on its side. We're like, okay, yeah, you appreciate it. We pick it up by what, 2 pieces? It's in 2 pieces.
Three.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And we put the pieces in the thing. Take it back. I got it though. I fixed it up. It's nice.
It looks brand new. It looks great.
Well, I've always said that any podcast table, right, that I was going to podcast from, the table has to have meaning. And there's been 2 podcast tables, really, that would count, that rotate through what's been a podcast table, possibly 3. And they've had their meaning and come and gone. But now this one has a wonderful story.
Right?
That the Wicked Witch of the East sold us her table, and it has come to a nice place.
I wonder if we asked everybody what age they thought the people that we were talking about, what they would say, because of the 2 different types of stories. One of them you wouldn't even expect that story because of the age.
Yeah. If we started out by telling you kind of demographic, you'd be like, oh yeah, they were fine, and I'd be like, no, not at all. There's a main descriptive I'd love to say right here, but it offend people, so I leave it alone. It's too general. But Davey, if you're listening, my brother, you know which one I'm talking about. But it's true. But it's still fascinating, right? The little moments you share in their lives, they tell you. Some tell you the whole life story. Guy took me in the back, told me about where he's been fishing, where he needs to go fishing. He's from Miami, knew where you're supposed to fish. You can run right out. I got sailfish stories. And all right, I got to bring this up. I didn't tell you. All right. Great. I just wanted him to go. I'm just like, could we go? So the guy that came and bought the mattress in the back, right? Did you happen to notice him? It was better you probably looked at him through glass anyway.
Oh God, no! Am I gonna be scared?
Look, I'm judging. But all right, the guy walks in to get the mattress. I'm just possibly a nice guy. Okay,
I know that he was talking a lot.
Okay, because it took me a while. Remember, we were trying to do the.
I was like,
numbers.
is everything okay?
Yeah, we were doing numbers for the other company. Anyway, so it did take me a while. He's telling me all the fishing spots. I haven't even mentioned I fish. He's just telling me all the fishing, spear fishing, Hawaiian slings, what you do, all this place. I'm like, all right, just get the bird. And now, mind you, he's taking a sweet time loading it up, and helped him tote it out there. Now he's telling me this story, and I'm going to leave names out. The way he just blew by what he said to me, like what he said to me, he just blew by it. Like he didn't just say what he said to me as a stranger. Like, brother, I've known you 5 minutes. I've known you from like the walk in my door to buy a mattress that I don't want anymore. And you shouldn't say that. So he's telling me about a person that he is related to that he would take fishing. And he would take fishing, and he would get promised, he'd have to promise to take this person fishing for someone else that he loved in his life, right, etc. And this younger person, he just, was retarded. And that's how he said it. He said he is retarded. And he'd take him fishing, and he, as he's describing him, he says, yeah, he's retarded, and, you got to keep him away from young girls. But I got to take him fishing, and we're out there. He just keeps right on going. Like he didn't just fucking say
What?
that. Right? Like I'm supposed to, first he's built this story like he's the nice person taking this person fishing. Like, and I get it with the
Yeah.
mental health, I get it. But you just slipped that in and just rolled on past it. He just was like, yeah, you got to keep him away from little girls. You got to watch him. And so I took him
Yeah.
fishing, and, we had beepers then, right? And I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you're like, what? You realize what you just said, right? Little girls.
There's a reason you know that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's all I could say. And I'm like, just burn the mattress. Just get out of here. And he says that as the mattress is already on the truck. He's already in the thing. He's almost tied it up. And I'm kind of like, wrap this shit up, man. Let's go. I don't want to talk to you. And does anybody else know?
Hurry up.
I felt like I call somebody? I'm like, this is you telling me? Have you told somebody else? I'm just like, Jesus.
Yeah, I didn't really get to hear the story, but I felt like he was a bit clingy.
No, he's just talky. just talky. And then, oh man, the man can talk. And yeah. But you just don't say that. You just drop that in a conversation on Offer Up when you're picking up a mattress of all things. You don't say that. You don't just
You almost can notice sometimes you think maybe they're even doing this just so they have interaction with people.
oh man.
Like they're so hungry for conversation or even someone to look at, probably.
Yes. The one lady who came to pick up something that couldn't get out of the vehicle due
Yeah.
to her excessive size.
Yeah. She was really large, yes.
You shouldn't be driving.
Oh, she was definitely above that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where you really do.
If you can't get out, if it's a
She did look.
it was an
stuck.
episode. Yeah, it was an episode. I can't get out. It's an episode, and I have a bad knee.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, gosh, that's dangerous.
It is dangerous. And two, it's just like, what about the people that are with you in the car?
Yeah, loaded it up, messaged me back about like $5. I'm like, whoa. I gave you that almost. I'm like, okay, I loaded it for you too. Oh man, we're gonna get stuck on Offer Up. But it leads to the kind of karma thing, right? Is of like how you leave with somebody. Some people needed help, right? The one young girl that came out and bought her new table.
Yeah,
that
her,
really nice
yeah.
table we had. We sold them. She was, very
Really
cautious,
excited
but
and-
excited. Like, all right, and came prepared, tied it up, ready to go. The one lady that bought the patio furniture.
Yeah.
Running rope through it, or
Yeah.
sticking the chairs in like it's
I
bad
thought she
Tetris.
was cool. I liked her.
Yeah, she
Where
was funny.
you go, all right, if I'm going to go rob this bank, I might choose her to go with us.
She was willing.
Right? Yeah. She would be someone that I know that we would all be on the same page, able to fight maybe even, but get the job done.
That's the lady you referenced that said, my husband's not coming, but I'm taking his truck.
Yeah.
That's who you're talking about?
Uh-huh.
I thought so. Yeah, we were just sticking chairs out there left and right. I had like 6, nice Hampton Bay patio chairs and sticking
Yeah.
all out, running rope through it for her. Oh, man.
It looked pretty good, like a really good jigsaw puzzle that got it together.
Well, that
Or
kind
Jenga.
yeah, a bad game. It was tied down though, so it was good. She was safe.
Yeah, she had 2 of those straps down.
Yeah, she had the little the tie downs. She was safe. We sent her on her way safe.
No, but it just looked funny.
Sit there and do the wave as
Yeah.
she's leaving.
Yeah, that was funny.
Bye.
Yeah, and she did go down the street before she said she would even if she felt good. So she didn't come back.
That's right. She made it.
Yeah.
But working with you like that is a different level. We do a lot of different work together. We do this work together, right? We do one business. We'll just keep unnamed. It's a side regular type of professional company that we run in 2 different states. We do multiple kind of podcasts, and now we're opening the nonprofit. And apparently, we're a moving company. Apparently, we can also get box trucks and plan navigation around a city, even in a hurricane.
Yeah, both. It was actually so much fun for me, I thought.
It's a form of like the Amazing Race, like a just a miniature version. They should do like an offer up race to where like, all right, you got to fill your house. You have this much to spend. You have to fill this many rooms. Do 2 couples, right? And they give them both a same size house. They got to fill it up with this much money on this budget. They have this amount of time. Give them a U-Haul and go, you got 24 hours.
Yeah, who can make it look the best?
Yeah. What can you spend? What can you fill? What can you
Yeah,
recycle?
how much? Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot. It's ridiculous how many things. Like just the other day, I saw a couple people just giving away free things that looked fine, but they were in that position where, they had to get rid of it. And so it's better just to say free so they don't have to go, get the U-Haul or find a place for it to be. And they were really nice things. If that's just what you were doing, you could find nice things.
Yeah, and recycling. Look, I drive by through this suburb, any suburb I've ever really been in, and people will leave the garage door open, and I'm like, what the fuck? What is you? There's a little carved out way. You can see you got to slip sideways, kind of wiggle through
Yeah.
the middle, and then you're like, there's a maze they got work. And I'm like, what the? Some people, it's also stuffed, but it's organized to the till. It's just organized. It's all, you're like, wow, look at that. You're like, yeah. But it's still like, what the, how much shit? And if you think about it, seasonal changes and holiday stuff, it's tub rotations of months and hang out and.
I have a horrible story about that. In Colorado, you have the basements or the half basement even where there's a dirt section, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't even necessarily have to come through to the garage or whatever, but my sister-in-law, we were all going to have a garage sale, and she was like, I'm going to bring my stuff over. But she lives out in the fields and stuff. They have beautiful like horses, all that kind of stuff. But so there's probably a little bit more mice out there.
Oh.
She brought it to my house, and no joke, I had mice within but not just in the garage. They went in underneath the little.
Everywhere.
It was and it was like in a half of a day. It was horrible.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, we had to, of course, had people come over and do everything and get rid of it. But there were many jokes about my garage after that. We had an old car that like a collector's car.
Oh, that'll do
and
it.
Just junk all over, piled up on one side. I mean, it didn't to where the point where you just go, why are we keeping this? It wasn't like dirty junk, but it was just just unnecessary stuff. Collectibles that were worth $40,000, but they weren't being displayed.
Yeah. So much stuff. and when we liquidate like that, I love that, we're thinking about moving off to the beach here soon or something, but in this home that's too big, that what we own is staged in like a little room, right? Everything's recycled for one, but so much stuff in the garage, man. It just kind of becomes natural. I understand a lot of people. It just doesn't it's not like a day or overnight. It's just time at a place. But even if you think financially, right? This is what started curbing me. I mean, you don't got to go full minimalist, man. You ain't got to play the whole role or nothing. But at least park both cars in the garage of a home that you
Yeah.
pay a mortgage for.
And you're still making payments on your vehicle, probably.
Right. And you're making payments on a car you're trying to own. Keep it in the garage. Take care of it. Right. Clean the stuff out. Because when you do, not only will you make some money if you just get rid of all that junk you don't need, purchase as you need, but recycle stuff as you need it. Right. And when you really detach from stuff like that and let that stuff go, I tell you that the weight that gets lifted from the amount of stuff we own.
It does. It feels so good, especially when we were actually discussing moving. For the first time, for the real first time in my life, I didn't feel overwhelmed going, oh my gosh, how long is it going to take us to pack? Or what do I have to take? Or, not take. I didn't even have any concern at all. I was like, oh yeah, that'll fit in this small house if we want that small.
I remember the financial part I never got to. See, the financial part that spoke to me kind of in the beginning because I was like, all right, I'm not full on minimalist here, right? You got to play the whole movement, but here's the part where I squirreled off. But the financial edge is like, look, the more stuff that you buy, the bigger space that you have to store that stuff in. And if you move to different spaces because, well, you have so much stuff, that's mortgages, that's power bills, certain things increase. When you move those things around each time, you need a bigger truck, you need more trips. It's more fuel, more storage, more rotation of all this stuff. It actually costs you money over time to move it and store it and hold on to this stuff. And just when you look at that and there's things that you need and you don't need that become so wasteful on the dollar, that sense is alone enough, for a lot of people, I think, to really realize. You look like you had something to follow.
No, I was listening. I'm waiting for you to finish. That's why I'm like, I'm waiting for you to finish. I'm like, yeah.
I mean, you don't have to go as far as I did and like throw out your yearbooks and stuff. I mean, I went that far. I detached from the hardest things first, the home run baseballs as a little league player. When you dump those things, it's easier. I always tell you, look, if you want to start, right? If you want to clean out your garage, your closet, but hell, start with your car for some people.
Yeah.
If you want to start, just find the hardest thing that it is for you to throw away and throw that away first.
That's a great idea.
Or the thing right under it. Throw one of those two things away first. Manage it. Get help. Do something. If you have to get help to throw a thing away or whatever, if it's memories, I get you. You're probably yelling at me right now going, no way, that's my baby's first. Right? But if it means something, it's in the mind, it's in the memory, right? You can
Take
keep
a picture
that.
of it.
Yeah, take a picture even of it that's what I did with the trophies or whatever. Just little pictures. That's all you
If
need.
you want to kind of reminisce, that's all you're really doing anyway, right?
10-4.
I mean,
And-
especially if they're those generic old trophies,
Yeah.
like not
Yeah.
real stuff.
Of course, those slowly dwindled over time. Became like to the
Yeah.
nameplates. Then the nameplates were gone, right? But if you throw out the tough stuff first, everything after that, you're like, I love that. You're like, I threw out my whatever already. You're like, fuck it. You're like, oh, who cares? Once you get rid of that hard thing or two, the rest of it, you're just like, well, I already did that. And
Yeah.
then the high you get from getting rid of the rest of it feels a lot better anyway. Then you feel the clarity, the cleanliness that you feel, the ability to move. Heck, you make money. You'd be surprised.
Oh yeah, I did that when you helped me.
When I found Patricia, you weren't that bad at all.
No, but I mean, it was kind of a reality check though when you really thought about, because it's been a minute since I've shared a closet, right? Or
You still
space,
You still don't.
right? Well,
I mean, that you don't.
I did in Arizona.
Oh, yeah. In Arizona,
That's what
you
I'm
had
talking
to.
about.
But here, you don't have to.
Yeah, no, I don't have to. But in Arizona, when I did, you don't think about that. You have, oh, this whole side is this and this is this or this size or whatever. And so it was interesting to get rid of stuff. But after I got rid of things that I thought, oh my gosh, I paid so much money for that, I started to go, who cares? It's gone. It was more like a mistake that I paid that much money for that stupid thing.
Oh, yeah. That's the hardest part is if you have invested in whatever you have there.
Yeah.
And you're trying to find a way to downsize and you did pay that big penny for it and you can downsize. That's the hardest part. But that's, again, once you cut that hard thing that you kind of take the loss you think for, you kind of go, okay, all else is nothing,
Yeah. And two, you know what? You also kind of go, you know what? You get the good and the bad. I get a bad deal giving my mistake away, but I'm going to get a good deal on someone else's mistake.
Kind of like we did with the table and that one little couch. The first couch we bought was very functional for the dog, etc.
Yeah.
It was nice, but it was just good to go and got rid of that. And it was amazing. I made like $800 something up and got better stuff than we had last time that fit more, but even less stuff, which is good.
Yeah, definitely. And I would say a lot more quality stuff.
Yeah, which is where you want to go.
The price and all that kind of stuff, yeah. And like you just said, no matter really what the size of the place, not too big or overwhelming, like the sectional or stuff like that.
Not bad stuff. It's all right. I mean, I wonder, right, if karma is real. Like all the people that I made a couple deals, or you did too, where we just went, all right, fine. You know what I mean? You just kind of pay that. It's a small portion forward or whatever of how, ripple effect. I once wanted to do a podcast, as you remember, called The Ripple Effect. And I wanted to interview someone, start somewhere, and then they would nominate somebody that they knew personally and would certainly do the podcast and interview them about whatever, and then
Right.
them to the next person, and then just follow that ripple effect outwardly until you, I don't know, see who you talk to, who you follow. And so you never really know, how much you affect people, even if it's a brief moment. I mean, look, that weird dude that just dropped that thing that, you got to keep him away from the logo. He affected me that long. You know what I mean? Where you touch people, reach out to them like that, right? It's a
Yeah.
wrong line to use at that time, huh? And
But there's the positive times too when you.
yeah, when you laugh about a cool interaction, like the cats that bought the pool table and got it out of here, cool cats, man.
Yeah.
And cool cats, man. Walked in and checked out the pool table. Buddy translating. I knew he spoke English. He can play with me. Like, I understand Spanish too, man. Like, I don't know exactly what you're saying, but I can make out.
Yeah.
But they were nice, man. They were way cool.
Yeah.
Picked up the table, that was a good thing to watch go, to get the pool table out of here.
It's funny because it's, when we got the pool table, that was a cool story,
Yeah.
The lady, I'm getting in the car with her, going to go get the parts to get it fixed right for the guys that we just paid money to get the parts for. You know what I mean? You just go, am I really in the car with two strangers going to get a part for these men that are being paid to do this job?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you kind of feel cool doing it and you're not in the bad way. You're kind of going, am I really getting this done? So remember, because the weather was crappy too.
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
raining and stuff. And we're like, we just need this to be done. And then even picking up the couch, our freaking U-Haul breaks down.
Yeah, the U-Haul died getting the couch. Yeah, the battery died on that. It was a 6-hour event. Look, I think anyone that thought about doing this is like, oh, hell no. Never mind. I'm not going to.
It was kind of like the money pit gone bad to good.
Yeah, but it was kind of fun.
Yeah.
It's fun when you're driving around town in a little U-Haul, and you're grabbing something and you're chatting about random stuff, eating unhealthy as hell, grabbing.
Oh yeah, we did that day. We had that fried chicken.
Yeah, whatever it was.
Remember, we went into we were going to get the rotisserie, but they were all out. And
I'm not going to eat rotisserie anymore now after listening to
I
that
know.
Planet Money podcast. That NPR.
Well, yeah. But what was the main reason?
One, because it's chicken.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're switching totally.
Factory chicken stuff. No. Well, that I'm off of the best you can anyway, but even then it's hard to tell. I mean, pasture raised chickens have to get that. I don't know. I'm thinking about being done with the chicken. Yeah.
I don't. We've had chicken so much to where right now that doesn't sound bad.
Right,
I'm like, oh, so what?
Well, I think I'm just going to go heavy on the seafood mainly. And heavy on the seafood mainly, and I'm definitely still throwing in that steak because I did feel a difference. But vegans are like lighting the torches right now. All right, you don't even know.
I know. It's kind of cool to see the difference when how we were talking about me possibly having low iron.
Yeah.
And how after you have some spinach and some steak, and you just kind of go.
We did that little biohack,
Yeah.
found certain ways and found ways to kind of judge how you were feeling, little Likert scales and stuff, and say, all right, 1 to 10 feelings. And I mean, it's a great biohack, man. And frankly, I'm tired of biohacking. I don't like it.
I've got to say, I've not known anyone that does so much hacking on figuring out the reason and the better way, and you start to kind of go, oh my gosh, there is a better way, or maybe I should pay attention to that.
Well, I've been through the ringer, if you will, of supplementation and and there's cool enhancements and a new area of mitochondria replacement supplemental things that I'm novice in at this point, learning. But from what I learned in the web, all in the beginning about foods and all, it's so to the individual. It's so to what
Yeah.
works for you, what your levels are, what you need to change, what you want to do, what you want to. It's so to the individual. And for me, I kind of came out of the end with a few basic things that, like, it's just the garlic, the vitamin C, the ginger, just dosing that every day as an immune system type thing. But knowing my levels helped, knowing I wasn't low really on anything. Supplements, by the way, people, are to supplement what you don't have or are deficient in, not to just take because someone
In
said
place.
a vitamin is good. Get your levels checked, you know what I mean? And know the levels so what you're actually taking. How do we get on supplement?
I don't even remember. I don't know.
We got to find a way to hang Morgan's painting back up. My daughter painted a giant picture of a squirrel.
Yeah.
And you used to have a little, we took it down, but you had a painting area set up where you paint. And my daughter was over here and she painted a big squirrel. It was cool. So we hung it up in the last studio on the back of the door. So when I would squirrel off on a podcast, I would just say squirrel. And guests would look over and actually be a squirrel.
Yeah, I think it would probably go right there.
Yeah. We got to hang the squirrel somewhere.
Yeah, I think so. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about karma, really. That's where we're. Here's I'll pose another question to karma. Well, when something happens to you, right? Who's judging whether that's karma? Do you have like a karma bank? Do you check it? And you're like, oh no, I'm owed or I'm empty. You don't know if you're an asshole maybe to somebody, right? Because you don't really get to determine that anyway. They determine whether you're the asshole. So when do you know the waves all run out, right? When you've done bad stuff, when it's hit you, right? It's in 3. Are you tracking it? Have you been doing it since you were 10? So you started with the right number. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but what if you are part of like what if my karma would be that someone would be shitty to my kid?
Right.
So my kid would be like,
yeah.
What's going on? But really, they're just my karma.
Wow.
Because that would hurt me worse than if it was me getting hurt.
Man, see, now you're taking like plot twists on karma. That's my point. Is how are we tracking what is, what isn't? So when something happens to you, like, oh, that's karma.
Yeah.
Or maybe you just were stupid for a second.
Yeah.
Maybe you didn't look at it. Like I got a cut on my beautiful bald head at the top right now.
Your head is beautiful, bald.
Is it cut? Like I cut my head. And I'm like, no. Is that karma? Right? Is it getting me?
It looks like a rug burn.
Yeah. And then look, we climbed the tree today, and I got another boo boo. So is this karma happening? Right?
Baby,
that I'm getting beat up.
You said boo boo on the air.
I know. I'm grown enough to say that shit. I ain't worried about. Here's a story about some. All right, I'll give you a story I may have not have told you before.
Oh, I love to hear those on air.
Yeah,
Just kidding.
my cousin Dara and I, we were kids, right? And I don't know, 10, 11, I don't know. I always, to put an age on you, I'd tell you I'd be lying. It's somewhere to where my parents, we were in the back seat and went with them somewhere.
Okay.
And my dad has a baseball tournament. We're at a beach area.
Yeah.
And Dara and I are determined to go fishing, of course. And so anyway, we got the split room, right? So Dara and I got a room on one side, my mom and dad on the other. So now we get there, it's like 10:30, right? Dad plays early, so he's crashing out. Now this is where it gets weird. I can't front. And I'll have to get Dara somehow on the air to corroborate this story, right?
Yeah.
And anyway, so I'm sitting at the end of the hotel bed, and I cut on the TV, and there was a television show by the name of Jenny Jones that was on.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was Jenny. Anyway.
Oh, you're like, good old Jenny.
Jenny Jones.
Chats.
Right, we all know her, right? She always called me on Tuesdays. But anyway, so I'm sitting at the foot of the bed. Now, at the very foot of the bed, queen size bed, feet on the ground, maybe a couple feet away, right, from the TV, just kind of leaning forward, like, all right.
Yeah.
Now, my cousin is on the other, it's a double bed. He's on the other bed, leaning, up on the headboard.
Yeah.
Now I'm sitting there, and I look up for a minute, and somehow I went from there, got thrown. I'm just telling you, got pushed or thrown or something. It was weird. I'm not a believer. I'm not a ghost person or nothing. All right, I'm not selling. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. I'm just telling you. And he saw it, and now you can try to repeat this on your own. Sit at the end of your bed. And whether it's a queen, right, it's got to be a double bed queen. Sit at the end of the bed, feet on the flat end of the bed, and from there, jump as hard as you can and see if you can land. And remember, this is like the 90s, so the headboard over by the beaches, right, it's this piece of wood that sticks up like a foot higher than the end of the bed, right? My ass lands above that on the wall. Boom! Hit the wall, slid down off the bed, fell on the side, table falls over, and the phone hits me in the head. Now, you can't jump that far. You can't jump. Dars freaks out. He's like, what? He watched it all happen. I'm like, I don't know, man. I felt weird. Turned off the TV. No, let's just go to sleep, man.
I was thinking you were going to go a whole different direction, like something like, speaking of no one's looking.
No,
I was
it
like,
was
oh,
crazy.
I've never heard this story.
It was crazy. No,
It's
like
so scary.
so we're talking about karma, right? So as far as I know, I'm a kid. I don't think I'm pretty sure I did bad shit. Anyway, so we get up early. We're like, let's go to bed. We got to get up at like 5 a.m. right to get some good surf fishing. It was terrible fishing, and we go down the elevator. I'm holding the fishing pole and tackle box. I take the first step. It's like 20 wood steps down to the beach. I take the first step, down I go. I roll down all 20 steps all the way to the bottom, and I kind of pop up standing up.
Did
You're
you
like,
get hurt?
a cut or two, but I was fine. You know, the poles made it. I broke the tip off of one of them, right? The tackle box scattered a little. And now I'm at the bottom, like, what the? Right. And now I'm not fishing 5 minutes, and I got a nice fish. I'm reeling in. It's pretty decent. It's go back and forth. I can see the lines moving on it. It gets hooked on it. I'm kind of walking to the surf a little bit to catch it. I get bit by a crab. The line cuts. I run back out, and I step on a shell. Now, my foot is bleeding on two parts. I just lost the fish. I had just fallen out 10, 15 minutes earlier down the steps. I was thrown to the back of the bed before I went to sleep. Now, I'm like, I'm done. I said, I don't want to, I'm going to go walk and fish inside these canals. My cousin comes with me. I go inside the canal. I start fishing there. And we're catching little snapper there off the inlet. And I proceed. Now, I've been fishing my whole life up to this point now. It's not a long 10, 12 years, whatever, but I've been fishing a long time.
Yeah.
I proceed to get cut. When I'm doing cut bait, I cut myself. I hook myself. I don't know how many times. I get poked by the snapper that we're cut. My hands are shredded. And I've been fishing like an hour or two. And I'm like, what is happening? It was terrible.
Did you want to just go race back home and get back in bed and pretend that day didn't start?
Yeah, I just kept fishing.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, but so karma, right? So does it feed the, does a kid know, right? When you do it, we all like to talk about it, right? It rolls off the tongue so nice. Something happens to somebody we're watching, they walk into a wall or something like, karma.
Yeah.
Right? Or they mess with you. And I used to joke one little story. I know I'm hogging the mic, but one little story when I used to first started working in nightclubs, I would help a young lady up 3 flights of stairs. It's the rope I was working. And a young lady gave me the nastiest look in the world as she takes the first step, like, how dare you try to help me up the steps.
Yeah.
About the time she did that, she took that first step and bam, face first on the second step and slid down. And I remember I looked, I'm like, karma's a bitch.
Oh, gosh.
Right? I'm trying to help. So is that karma in the moment? If karma doesn't happen right away, does it mean that it's okay, or will it get you one day? Because we also say that, right? Karma will get you one day.
Well, that's usually, I shouldn't say usually, but it seems like that's really when they say it's going to happen is afterwards. So one day, right?
I used to say this. I was like, look, I paid for all my karma back then. So I used to say, for some reason, karma was always a lady. And I would say, look, she follows me closely. So I paid for all mine. So the minute somebody does something to me, she gets them. The minute you do something to me, she's like, boom, bam, get you right there on the steps. I'm like, see, I've been good.
I'm the same. It's funny. I associate karma as a female.
Do you?
Yeah. But I mean, there's good karma. So maybe that's part of it too.
Yeah, that's funny. So if you're out there, is karma male, female, or non-gender, binary, non-specific?
Yeah. Or the people that say it's none of the above. It's a feeling. A light, an idea.
Yeah. I was trying to read some of the comments.
Yeah? Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't even see them. Oh, that's cool to see them that way.
Yeah, I was pulling up. I appreciate you guys watching. If you're watching, ladies, gentlemen,
Yes.
non-binary, gender specific. Trying to cover it. But it's funny watching us 5 seconds ago. So if you're watching us now and you're hearing it now and you're watching live on Facebook, but you can see the television in the Facebook, that is 5 seconds ago. Ago. That's 5 seconds ago now. We're back here in the present. The fire, we went in and put the fire out, it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was cool. But it was, you can still do it. Oh, you can't do them on the same thing, I guess, in your computer.
No, we can definitely pull the fire back. Look.
Well, you can do the comments, whatever you want to do.
I'd like to do the comments, but I will not be reading the comments well. I'll look like this.
I know.
This will be me.
Why I oughta?
I can't read the comment. Yeah, like the mic doesn't move. Right, here we go. I don't even know what's behind. Adam Taylor has joined the podcast.
Hello, Adam.
One of the Canacast members that hangs out. I can't even.
Rosie, she's always so sweet.
Yeah, she's so kind.
Mm-hmm.
How do you, Rosie? Marwan, there's a few people in it, man, that were saying what's up. What do you guys think about karma? If you comment about karma, maybe it'll
We'll be
pop
happy
up.
to address it.
Yeah, we would certainly address the karma. Maybe if your computer, does it pull up? Are you able to pull up Facebook and see the comments there? But mine's just delayed because it's also running the show at the same time. So it's running the
Is
fire.
that your way of saying, I'm doing everything? Could you try to participate? Is that his sweet way of saying that?
That's what she said.
Oh, wait, but then you go, baby.
That's what she heard. And
Yeah.
what he really said is, well, I'm running the fire. I'm running the show here on Facebook with the computer.
Right.
And then also OBS. So it's probably
you're
pretty
going-
slow.
This is a two-man show.
No, not a two-man show.
I know, that was supposed to be the problem with that. I was being facetious.
I have to defend it, though, because I'm the male. So I have to stand and say, no, it's not. I have to act like everything is. No.
No, you're just as important, dear.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I have to say it anyway. We'll get emails.
I know, 1 billion.
That's it. If they take the time to actually leave a bad email or comment, more people are much more apt to leave a bad compliment about you. You know what? They should do that for, like, if you online date and you have dating sites, they should literally let
That you
people leave
can't-
comments.
Yeah, delete. But you know what, though? Think about it, though. So, it's one of those things where you might go, sorry, that's not what happened.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then they trash you.
Yeah.
That sucks
That
because
can
you,
get
you
bad.
can't go, that asshole's just mad because I wouldn't go on a second date. So he turned it into something different.
That would get bad. Remember that we sat with that night with a whole bunch of couples, and the one guy that was the player that was actually married. He's like,
He was a douchebag.
He was using Match.com that way as a married guy to meet other girls out for dates. All the wait staff knew him. They're like, yeah, he comes here, brings different dates and stuff.
Yeah.
They're the one that told us the story. We were assuming some foul play already.
Dude, nowadays, would you ever be that? I mean, I guess he doesn't care, but I mean, he's married. I mean, how can you be so sloppy?
Yeah, that just repeating.
You know, like it's out there.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was noticeable amongst the little group tribe we had going there of couples.
It's hard to even be around that energy, though, isn't it? When you can feel their just assholeness.
Well, all the couples were sharing how they met, how we'd share stories. So there's like 3 couples. They're all vibing, kind of cool, different stories at different levels. And then there's this one couple to the right that makes the 4th one that like have met there on this night on Match.com for the first time. The wait staff knows the guy is a player who's married and knows she thinks, I think she knew that they knew something. And so then we're all kind of turned to the fire, hanging out, talking about relationship cool stuff. And it's like, all right, it's your turn. And we all kind of looked at him and they're like,
he's like this, like leaning back, like, no, man, no, nothing about me. Like he was like really trying to like take the attention off of them.
So were we his karma? Because it didn't work out well for him. Remember, he was leaving that night kind of forcefully.
But that means wouldn't be his bad karma. We'd be his good karma that he wanted to get the hell out of there.
No, she did at the end of it. That's my point.
Oh, she did want to stay. That's true.
Yeah, she wanted to stay. He was like, no, we got to bounce. It didn't work out well at the end for him that night.
No, definitely not. She could see right through it, I think, after a little bit of conversation required from him, like when someone else is kind of checking him.
Imagine that. You actually have to talk to a guy and you can actually learn a little bit more about him before you fuck him.
Right? Yeah, but maybe she didn't think of those questions.
She would have that night. She would have that night. You could tell. She was also, and then after she kind of learned what was up, she was like, I'm out. She was like, either you leave, I want to stay here. It was funny.
Yeah. I think it was one of those things like, this dude is making himself look so gross. I can't even do it if I wanted to.
Yeah, it was like,
with his behavior.
And your big sweetheart helping out that waitress down there, getting her all woman powered up.
I like to do that to them.
That was great. That poor thing, man, moved here from a little town to a big city, Orlando waitress, getting verbally and physically even abused by some big city wannabe Orlando boyfriend guy who was from New York or some big city. And man, and she was just distraught. And you just talked that young lady. She was just like, you know what? I could see it. She's like, fuck him. You know what I mean? By the time it was over, and like you could see, she really, That was cool.
You know, it felt really good because I did feel like she was like hearing what I was saying.
That was cool because that was like the third time we'd ever hung out.
I know.
The second time we'd ever hung
It
out.
was.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. The second time we ever hung out, I'm watching you work the crowd like that. The second time we ever hung out, we're sitting there working the crowd with like two different couples. One sneaky couple cheat on his wife. You're bringing a waitress back to life. She's like 21. Like, yes, I'm independent. Right? You're bringing her back to life. I'm just like, man, it's the second time we ever hung out, man. I said, I can't even talk anymore.
That was fun. It was fun to be able to really experience hanging out with you in a different way, to where there's other couples, like a pretty good diversity, just to see how you would behave with different people, or because we
cool
really
way to
hadn't
meet,
been around that, you know.
That's a cool way to meet, right? I guess when to really think about it is, the first night we hung out was great. We talked for hours and hours, and but the second time physically hanging out like that, what a cool way to meet, right? It's like how do you interact? Because I remember the younger couple, about our age, kind of, they've been together with some time, about to introduce kids or something. Another couple been together for some time too, and then Shady Cat, and we had just really met. Physically hanging out for like the second time, and but we were vibing like we'd hung out for 15 years, and but it was funny, man. On the second time, that really is a good date interview when you're like, how does he hang out around other couples? Can he talk? Does he hang? Is he embarrassed? Because that dude who was on a shady mission was called out rather quickly, and you could really see the connection between the other couple. They were working through some stuff because it was new.
Oh yeah. They were like one of those shows.
Her son. Remember, her son was kind of a trip. She was really close
that's
to
right,
him.
right. And he was making that sacrifice.
That's right.
He was going to do some changes, and
But they were really close, and you could see it. They were working. It was cool, man.
the look that I remember was a painful love.
Yeah. Well, they were working through it, but I could tell they were connected.
Yeah, but like there was a lot of, and that's usually where people ultimately connect, is through pain or fear.
Yeah, that's right out of my philosophy there, for sure.
I stole that one. And so that's the kind of that exhausted love when you see that. Almost kind of like 9/11 love.
Whoa, I don't know. That seemed like dangerous ground to me.
That's the kind where you are sorry that you ever regret or were mean to somebody or anything. All you can think about is how much you should have valued people before you think about the risk of maybe losing them.
Yeah, I think she was undervaluing him and his input for what she wanted, I thought. But heck, I mean, that was the point. That was the second time we'd physically actually hung out in each other's space, and we closed that bitch down. They were walking out, and I don't mean just drinking wise. Close it down. We closed it down talking.
We had another first too recently in Orlando the other night.
When I took you down to the old stomping grounds?
Yeah, that was fun. It was fun.
Yeah.
We haven't really been able to experience that.
Yeah, I hadn't done that in a while. That was fun. Went to the UFC fight Saturday night, and a shout out to my boy Mike Perry. I know it didn't go well for you, buddy. That's the hardest thing, though. Like I told Julian to tell you that night in the locker room, is that will be the hardest thing you face, Mike, is facing your home crowd like that with all that kind of pressure and going down. And then I said, but understand, though, that's where champions are born, in the dark.
And two, if I'm going to experience that as a fighter, this is where I would want to experience it, is with my family.
Yeah, with your crowd right there. Yeah, he'll come back from that. He'll come back. I got a feeling my boy Julian Williams will soon be get the call. I keep hashtagging before the call. That's what I keep hashtagging. He's got his fight April 7th coming up too. So
yeah, that would be cool to watch.
When I caught him training the other day at the park in the line, I was like, "So man, you saw my little hashtag before the call, right?" So I'm hearing, from what I'm hearing, chatters, you're gonna get the call here if you win this fight to finally get his UFC shot. Yeah. So that's he blinked twice. He blinked twice.
That's funny.
Yeah. So it was cool that night. Then after we hung out at the fight, those seats were fucking killer, by the way.
They were pretty awesome. Yeah. I had a great time. There was, some I'm not going to bring up all the stories, but one story that I think is cool is the honest person that picked up my purse and held on to it for us.
That was killer.
I mean, it was seconds, or probably 5 minutes later?
However long it would take us to get from that sky deck there at the arena,
On the escalator.
yeah, downtown Orlando, up to the little club box thing, it's 3-4 minutes.
Yeah, I just, it's a little handbag, I went to go put my glass down or whatever, and thinking I was going to go sit back down, and then you were like, "Baby, come look at this," and I'm like, "Okay," and left my purse on the little bench, and I went to go to the restroom, and I was like, "Oh my gosh," because that natural where you're going to hang your purse or whatever,
Yeah.
and I couldn't do it, and I was just like, "Oh my gosh!" So you were nice enough to run like mad, helping me find it.
Well, the
My
gentleman,
feet were killing me.
the gentleman that was nice enough to answer the phone when I called it
Yeah.
and hold on to the purse, not try to blackmail. He may not have made it off the Sky Lounge, but
And he was cool to ask for ID.
he was way cool. Yeah, got there, asked for ID to see the purse, what was in it. Threw Buddy some
Yeah.
cash for sure.
Yeah.
Threw him some cash for the love. That was like, man, somebody actually did that.
I did feel like you were very kind. You were kind to him. He was kind to everybody. Was
That was cool.
kind. I was just kind of an idiot.
No, it happens. It happens, man. And well, it was after the fight. Then I think when we left there and we went downtown, my old stomping grounds of back in the day, which I thought was funny, and met with some old friends. And when we turned the corner in the 12 tribes, the was it? I forget the name right now. Are on the corner and they're yelling. They're arguing with somebody.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I can't remember the name.
I don't
Actually,
know
it's
what they're
slipping my
called.
name. It's slipping my mind. I can't remember. Anyway, so the one white guy who's intoxicated is yelling at their black faction of religious belief.
Yeah.
And I just paused for a minute, like, man, I listen to this. You end up debating with this guy long enough. Everyone's kind of involved with the debate. I'm debating another guy on the other end. By the time we talked this drunk guy down, shout out to you. You know who you are if you're listening. He became a person.
Yeah.
And wound up going to have a drink or two with us.
Yeah.
the
Well,
bar.
too, I was actually able to also kind of like go, what am I doing? Why am I arguing with somebody they don't really know? And why am I arguing in general? And I did say, I'm sorry I'm arguing. Are you sorry you're arguing? Let's play.
It turns out he's, heartbroken.
Yeah.
He's heartbroken from his lady for like with forever. I love how you told him, like, you're an asshole.
Yeah.
You're like, you knew he was. You could tell. He knew it though too. He knew
He
it
was,
though,
but
too.
I should have,
You gave him good advice though. You gave him good advice. He put the advice into play. It didn't take him long though, for he was like, "Hey, I got this girl's number."
I know. I wasn't even, that's funny. But you brought up a good point too, which is we don't really know the story. Because, we weren't talking shit about it. We were actually just like pointing it out.
Yeah.
We didn't actually talk shit about it. But, and I think we were on the same page of, we don't really even know that this isn't the 10th time this has happened with him and this other female.
Yeah.
And because when
Or
he
she's
gets
not
like
in another
that,
state because he's a stalker, and she's like, he's crazy. I've had to move 4 times.
but as excited as he was to have a conversation,
Yeah.
when minutes earlier you're reciting about how much you're in love.
Yeah.
You just kind of go, okay, so is he in pain and he just needs to drown that out and have some, innocent conversation with these females?
No, he was definitely after a lot more than that. I was like, your love story's really fading here, buddy.
Yeah.
By the end, I'm like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But we are certainly not, I know I'm not certainly not that young anymore, because after that night ended, we walk out of the old bar that I used to own and run, and no one was on the street anymore. We had really shut downtown Orlando down.
Yeah, I'm surprised Uber are they open 24 hours?
Well, and then the next day, God, that hurt so bad. I just
Yeah.
can't do it like that. It's so good that it's so off that, like, what was that? I forget. We were listening to music today. Some song played. I was like, yeah, you can let loose once in a while and remember, go remember why you don't anymore.
Yeah.
It's kind of what it was like for me. I was like, remember why you don't anymore.
Yeah, it was fun until you forget that you wore brand new heels. Who does that?
Oh, your poor
downtown?
feet.
Oh my gosh.
Your poor feet, they were
Yeah.
tore up.
for any of you people that have a foot fetish, count me out.
Oh, you poor thing.
Because my feet are jacked right now.
Well, we had the same goal of going to the park all week and working our Frisbee game all week, which we met the goal. And you poor thing, you're out there with your blistered feet still getting the Frisbee in.
You know, but when we moved to the other section, though, it was so much fun. The flatter, with just hillish, not like the freaking choppy stuff.
Things like a war zone. Looks like it's taking mines and fire shot. That side is pretty blown up.
Yeah, but you know, it's been so nice to be able to really feel like you're getting a workout in with the weather changing again and doing fun stuff instead of feeling like you're working out.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, that's what we do, in case you're listening. Is functional patterns philosophy is kind of what we believe in. So it rules out a lot of things that a lot of people are used to, like lifting weights or CrossFit especially, or anything like that. But for me, I brought in a new philosophy in my life kind of over the last year or so was, I spent so long training to work out, definitely not training. I was training habitually is what I was doing, and switching from that. But I wanted to play. I wanted to train and play, if you will, stay in shape. So finding things like Frisbee, like we play pretty, strong, high-powered Frisbee, man. When you're really flinging it and you're jumping and sprinting back and forth, it's no joke. But whether it's that or I can't wait, it's almost time to surf again. I'm determined to get back on the board. It's been long enough, and that's coming back around. Like that for me is how I like to stay in shape, is to play.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We haven't really had a summer here.
Oh, it's coming.
Not here.
It's coming. I can't wait. The spring's first and summer's coming, but spring will be here. I typically stay out of the water, especially in March. For those of you that don't know, if you're in Florida, now some of you Floridians may know and not care, and a lot of natives don't. There's like 4 of us. Well, we meet once a month. And anyway, so for all the tourists, I always thought it was funny that all the tourists and snowbirds, as they're referred to, come down about, October, early November, December, definitely January, February. And these are the exact months, including early March, where I don't even get in the water if I can help it. Shark population quadruples around the coastlines of the state of Florida. And that's when the people quadruple in the state of Florida. So it's just a lot more. And they get in the water. They don't give a shit. Those people from Minnesota and Ohio that come down here, they're like, oh, the water's 60. It's great. Yeah. And I'm like, well, man, I got another 2 months before I get in that water, man.
See, I was like that too because I didn't live by the ocean. So I was like, you know what? I have not been around this since freaking 5 years or whatever. And so you go, I'm getting in no matter what. I'm probably going to not walk away, but I'm getting in there. Yeah. You just kind of throw that idea out there that there's a danger because you're just excited to see the water.
I guess if you keep getting in the water too, you're really testing that karma tank to see if it's open or full, aren't you?
Think about how many people, though, act like they are indestructible, that there is no such thing as karma, that they can...
So you believe there's karma, she says.
I do believe in karma to a certain extent, yes. I just believe that if you're not a kind person, that it's going to come back to you somehow, some way, even if that is loneliness.
That's harsh. Yeah, I agree. And I said the environments give back. Part of my philosophy too that was written down is I believe the world to be an interconnected place of choices, decisions, thoughts, actions, and behaviors. We are all connected. Be careful what you put in it because it does give back. And that was part of my philosophy. So the idea is whatever you put in it, you do get back in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, then yes, if that's the description of karma, I believe that.
So what do we do to get our table broke, man?
I'll tell you what. We sold that lady that other thing that had the little grease tray broke. It was $2, but it was still something that wasn't 100% what we...
Interesting.
I mean, even though we did sell it as... That is how
metal.
It is. Yeah. I mean, it was like next to free. Okay. But maybe that's how they felt about it. Like,
or maybe
you got it next to free.
Or maybe if we because we perceive it to be and we perceive karma to be real, what if we create it like it's voodoo? It only really affects you if you believe in it.
Well, it isn't everything.
Look at you. Off little drop bombs. Well, I'm going to wrap this up because I have to find the men's room. I have been pounding this water like it's not water, but it is. But I've been pounding this. I was just so dehydrated before we started the show.
Yeah.
What is I drank 7 glasses of water?
Yeah, I was really thinking those were shots.
No, I was drinking 7 glasses of water before we started the show. But it's been fun. We also been chatting for like a while now.
Oh yeah, well, they're probably like, why are we in their living room?
I love the new setup. It's been
I
fun.
do. I love it too. It looks. You did a great job.
No, we did this. Are you kidding?
Yeah, I'm talking about the logo and everything. You did a good job on that too.
Oh, this little setup.
Yeah, I can't take the credit for that. You did that.
Yeah, but you took this picture.
Oh, I did. By the way, that is Adam and I.
Yeah, you took this picture, and this is your saying right there.
Yes, it definitely is worth the wait.
Yeah, it was definitely worth the wait at the beginning of this podcast. They were waiting for about 15 minutes after the live video.
Right.
But,
Thank you for waiting. I appreciate it.
yeah. Well, what we're going to try to start to do is broadcast live Sunday nights. We're going to aim for 8 o'clock, but Sunday nights at 8 o'clock, we're going to come live from the He Said, She Said Facebook page. Just like this, and chat about what we've been doing, certain things, throw a word out and see what comes
if you
up.
ever have any thing you want us to address, even if you don't want us to say your name or whatever, put it up there. Put like a little suggestion box, and we'll address it into however much depth you kind of want to.
Yeah, definitely. It's funny. Somebody posted Rosie Sandoval. How come I go to mingle.com and I never meet a good guy? I'm like, you answered your question right there, Rosie.
Right.
Your question's in the answer most of the time. But
There are some people that have made. That's a whole new show.
yeah, my bladder can't contain
Yeah, I
itself
can.
anymore.
That's a big deal.
If you could see me underneath this, like I'm doing the dance, like I'm dancing back and forth. Like the legs are here and here and here.
Oh gosh.
No, but yeah, Sunday nights at 8 we're going to aim for. So we're probably not going to be drinking wine for the month of March. So we're hanging out, get some good water. There's some great waters out there, and we'll tell you more about awesome waters as
Waters.
water
Okay.
as it unfolds.
We'll talk you.
We'll talk to you about some new waters. There's some new good water coming out soon. We'll tell you. But yeah, this has been He Said,
She said.
a show of some sort.
A show of some sort. We're going to talk about water and whatever else.
Yeah, we talk about love, relationships, and life, and as
And how much it's worth the wait.